Welcome, everyone. I'm sure you think making it here is an achievement in itself, but I can assure you, it's not. You all have everything to prove and everything to lose here. You think you're strong enough to be here? You think you're strong enough to fight in this war? Well, this training will prove just that. If you don't think you're cut out for this line of work, now's your chance to leave, because I can assure you that once training starts, it's not going to fucking end until I say so. So, let this be a warning to all of you new recruits. This is hell. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and treat you like you're just the God's best gift, because you are nothing but dirt on the bottom of my shoe until you can prove to me that you're goddamn worth being saved. Because when we're on the battlefield and I have to choose between my life and yours, you better make sure that you're worth saving. Otherwise, I promise you, I will leave you there to die. Understood? Good. Now go to your barracks and get settled. Training starts in an hour. God, Captain, don't you think you're a little bit harsh on them? I wouldn't be surprised if some of them pissed their pants. Not at all. Someone needs to be realistic with them. I don't like watching them die. I'd rather be honest and get them to work hard or stay at home where they can cry themselves to sleep. I don't need weaklings here, and I will not accept weaklings under my command either. All right, Captain. That's your choice. Now, if that will be all, I'll take the first 50. You can take the others. It's a small turnout this year, but I have a feeling we're going to get some good ones. And some very, very incompetent ones at that. I see you've all made it. Well done. I'm glad all of you know how to tie your fucking boots and put on some clothes. Now let's get started, shall we? I'm going to walk in front of every one of you, and if your appearance isn't up to scratch, well, you're not going to be in for a good start already. Being a soldier is about having pride. Do you have any of that? Good. Now let's get started. Barely acceptable. Not bad. And you, what's your name? That was a question to be answered, cadet. Huh. And could you care to explain why you look the way you do? Oh, we have a smart mouth, do we? Good. I'm fucking bored and you're the perfect thing to get me going, so come out here and let's show everyone a little bit of training, shall we? Oh, don't be shy. You decided to come here looking like that? Your appearance not up to scratch, your boots not polished, your hair disheveled. Do you really think this is acceptable? No, Captain. You're goddamn right it's not. And since you decided to be a little brat with that mouth of yours, you can show everyone here the example in this sparring training, so get your stance ready. You don't know how to fight? Well, cadet, you're here to learn, aren't you? Get your fists up. That's an order. You really think you're strong enough to be here, cadet? When you're pinned on the floor like this, and you look like a deer in headlights, you don't even know what to do with yourself. Are you crying? Oh, shit. You're more pathetic than I thought. Get up. Now, everyone. This is a prime example of why you should learn to defend yourself. Even though we have weapons to take care of long-distance fights, there is absolutely no doubt that you will come across someone close combat. And if you're like this cadet here, who has no idea what they're doing when faced in a pressure situation, you will find yourself dead. Much worse off than the bruises and blood that is coming from her nose. Do you understand? Good. Now pair up and start fighting. Huh? What is it, cadet? I don't have time to waste on you. You want to go again? You've got to be fucking joking, right? I see you've got some fire in your eyes. I like that. By all means, cadet, take your stance and have your best shot at me. But I'm going to tell you now, if you cannot land a hit on me by the time this session is over, and by this session being over, I mean you on the floor, probably crying again, then you consider yourself out of my squad. I am captain. I do not deal with weaklings. You're either cut out for it or you're not. And as soon as you accept that reality, well, I'm sure you will work much harder. Now, fists up. Keep an eye on where I am. Keep an eye on my momentum, my body weight. Keep an eye on what fist is forward. Good. Now, come at me. Not bad, cadet. And just like that, you're on the floor. Again? By all means. I'm just starting to get warmed up. You got some spunk. I like it. You think I'm that heartless? Maybe I am. I'm not stupid enough to injure my soldiers to the point where they're unable to fight. I take it you've got your lesson, and that you've learned it very well. But you've got balls. I'll give you that, cadet. If you can improve, then you can stay. But work twice as hard as everyone else. I see something in you. Don't you dare prove me fucking wrong. And with that, the captain walked away. She began observing everyone else. But as you stood there, bruised and bloody, you couldn't help but admire her. Respect how dominating she truly was. You could tell from her composure that she'd seen many things in her life, and she wasn't one to go soft or easy. You looked at her with determination, her words enough to make you want to fight with everything you have. But there was one thing you didn't quite understand. Why did she hold back so much? Why did she look at you that way when she was on top of you? Why did she have a sadistic glint in her eye when she saw you crying? The training session ended and everyone was dismissed. You saw her walking away to her office when you decided to approach her. Yes, cadet. I haven't got time for chit-chat, so whatever it is, make it quick. You want me to train you? And what on earth makes you think that you're so special to get one-on-one training? I said I saw something in you. Shit. You really are a little fucking devil, aren't you? I don't really have the time, honestly. Can you imagine that I've got my plate full with much more important shit than babysitting you? What's wrong? You can't learn anything on your own? You need someone to hold your hand and tell you everything's gonna be okay. How easy it is you cried for me, Cadet. I got to admit, I kinda wanna see that again. But don't you think we've had enough sparring for one day? Not one single blow was landed on me from your tiny, cute little hands. Have you not learned enough? You still want a lesson? I'll tell you what. I can give you a lesson. On endurance. But that's all. I don't have time for anything else. What do I mean by endurance? Well, that's for me to know and you to find out, Cadet. Either you want the lesson or you don't. This is a one-time offer, and I will not repeat myself. Good. Now, do you know your way around here yet? My office is on the far side of the quarter. Down there, take a left, and it's the door with a little bell over the top. You can't miss it. After dinner in the mess hall at 7, you can come find me. And, Cadet, make sure you're in a better, more cleanlier appearance than you are right now. I can't even stand the fucking sight of you. Wash up. And if you're a second late, this conversation will be over. Understood? Good. You're dismissed. You sighed deeply. You were grateful that you managed to secure some one-on-one training with her. But endurance. Your mind started to race, thinking of all the things it could mean. Perhaps she was simply going to sit back and watch you do laps for the entire evening. This didn't surprise you. Or perhaps she was just going to make you do things over and over. Endurance could mean anything. But as you were standing there, contemplating it all, your belly rumbled, and you decided to go back to the barracks, clean up, and eat some food. You was not going to be a minute late. But little did you know what the night truly had in store for you. You ate your dinner, your appearance clean, tidy. Your boots were polished and your hair was neatly waxed back. You started to walk down the alley, checking your watch. You had 10 minutes to spare, and you decided being early was better than risking being late. You found the door with the bell over the top, and you took a deep breath before knocking. Come in. Ah, I see you've decided to show up. Come in, Cadet. Take a seat. I'm just finishing up some paperwork. I see you've managed to clean up your appearance. I would say well done, but it is meant to be a standard. Tell me, Cadet. I've been thinking since our last little encounter. Why is it you wish to get training from me, and not any of your other fellow members? Surely they are more approachable than I am, no? You share the same sleeping halls with them, you eat with them, you talk with them, and yet here you are, demanding, well, begging for something from me. Do you think you're special, cadet? Oh, I can assure you, you're not. I'm looking in those eyes of yours, and all I can see is weakness. I don't see 1 ounce of strength in you, cadet. But tonight is where that will change. You want a lesson of me, correct? Well, before we start, I need you to agree on some terms. If you are to accept this lesson from me, you must do everything I say without question. Do you understand? Good. And if there's ever something you don't agree with, you will put up with it because this is what you asked for. Yes? Good. Now, I can promise you that you will leave here in one piece, and that you will certainly come out of here with your endurance definitely improved. But what goes on in here stays between you and I. But by all means, you can tell anyone you'd like. But don't expect to live another day, cadet. Do you understand? Good. Now, come with me. The captain rose from her seat, her 6-foot frame looming over yours. She opened the door to the back of her office, which led to her chambers, and then another room, which was her private training gym. She rolled up her sleeves to her shirt, her white blouse hugging her figure perfectly. Her leather black pants sat at her waist. She looked at you, not one shred of emotion in her eyes, as she pointed to 2 chains that hung on the wall, and a chair. You wondered what she meant when she pointed to them, but she didn't answer your question. She simply directed you to the chair and expected you to sit. You didn't exactly know what was in store, and for a moment there you thought she was going to torture you. Perhaps she was. But something in you told you to trust her. After all, she said you would leave this unscathed. But was that really, truly her intention? You took a seat on the chair, and her mouth turned into a very small smirk, before it was replaced by her dead straight expression, looking down on you as if you were simply nothing. Good. You've taken a seat. You see those cuffs either side of you? Put them on, cadet. Why? Do you remember what we spoke about just moments ago? I give you an order and you follow it. No questions asked. If you ask one more question, this session is over. And you will never, ever be able to receive it again. Do you understand? So, you either follow the rules and obey my every command, or you get the fuck out. Good. Now, let me tighten these up just a smidge. Comfy? You're not supposed to be. Now, what do you think it is we're going to do to enhance that endurance of yours, cadet? See now, you're probably thinking I'm going to torture you. Now that could be quite fun, but I'm afraid not. Have you learned anything about the human body in your studies, Cadet? Enough? Good. Well, then you know that when the body is pushed to a certain limit, all resolve and morality goes out the window. My job here is to get you to that limit, but to still have your thoughts and determination intact. It won't be easy, by all means, and I'm going to have a hell of a lot of fun doing it. But if you are as special as I think you are, you'll handle it quite well. And if not, then I guess I can just keep on going until you do. Now, Cadet, let me ask you a question. As I stand before you like this, and I look at you, what do you see when you look at me? What do you feel? Fear. I'm glad you can be honest with yourself. It's a very, very good first step. And what is it you think I'm going to do to you, Cadet? Hurt you? Not mainly, but I might just at some points, depending on if I get carried away or not. I need you to know that you are nothing to me. You're just a tool to be used and exploited. But I happen to want you as a tool to be strong. So, I have only but one question. Are you ready, Cadet? You nodded to her, and that was all she needed to begin. The room was dimly lit, candles alight on each side of the room, and you found yourself bound to this chair, looking at her, nervous, scared even. She ran her finger through her dark hair and walked up to you, grabbing a knife out of her pocket before slicing open your clothes. You protested, gasping, not entirely sure what she was doing. She continued either way, watching you squirm and struggle as you were bound by chains. In fact, you couldn't help the smile on her face. It grew wider the more you struggled. It was almost as if she was enjoying you being terrified and confused.